Hello, I am Tanya Mercer, here to teach your Sunday Level 34 Day 3 lesson for today. As usual, on the following slides, your child or student will say each sound aloud. If you know more than one sound for a letter or letters, please produce both sounds. Also, remember to prompt students for the short and the long sounds for all the vowels. If you need any more time at any moment, feel free to pause the video. Okay, these two letters can produce two different sounds. Here are the pictures to prompt those. This is the most common, and this is the next most common way. Same here, two sounds, most common, the next most common way. Short and the long sounds. Short and the long. And as a reminder for error correction, if they make an error, you would have them trace while looking at the keyword and the sound, and you would have them trace the ARR and repeat the sound. The short and the long sound. Please produce both sounds for C. The hard and the soft sound, kind of in the way of that. I'll bring that up just so that you can see. Okay, the short and the long sound. Short and the long sound. Hard and the soft sound for G. Okay, so now we're on to the spell sound section of our lesson. I'm going to give you some sounds, and you're going to write the letters that represent those sounds in that section of your student notebook. Aw. Repeat, then write. Ow. Ow. Repeat, then write. Now I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to write your answers in the spell sound section of your paper or on whatever paper you have. What are the two ways to write the S sound? What are two ways you can write the S sound? So what two letters represent the S sound? Okay. And then next, what are three ways to write the J sound? J. Okay. So you should, for the two ways to write the S sound, you should have written S and C, because S can say S and so could C. Remember hard and soft C. We've been reading about the prince, and it's spelled Prince. It makes the S sound. What are three ways to make the J sound? You should have written J, the most common, G, and then D, G, E. Okay, so when you hear the J sound, your first try would be that, using that, then that, then that, to see if it looks correct. Now, obviously, this has to be after a short vowel. Okay, if you did not have those, write those in now. If you made an error, cross it out, write it correctly. Do not erase. Okay, so now we're going to practice reading some words. So I want you to pause the video and take a moment to read these two columns out loud. Okay, we're going to review our touch spelling. You should have this down by now, but I never know where someone's going to start with these videos and whether they just go to a specific skill. So we're just going to review. When you do your touch spelling, if you're right-handed, your writing instrument should be in your right hand, and then you should touch spell with your left hand. Cat, you would repeat cat, and then you would go k-at. Or let me do a better example. We do it by sound. So for instance, if you had the word judge, you would do judge, and then you would go j. Now we just hear the j sound at the end, but we also know that after a short vowel, how we spell that. Okay, so we won't have a finger down for every letter, just for every sound. So if you're left-handed, it's kind of the same thing, except for you would have the writing instrument in your left hand, and you would start with your thumb, so you're following the left to right sequence of how we read words. So you would do judge, judge, j. Okay, that's just to isolate the sounds. All right, so we're on the spell word section right here. So I will say a word, you will repeat the word, you will touch spell the word, and then you will write it. You will need to pause the video in between each word. First word, while. Repeat, touch spell, then write. Yawn. Repeat the word, touch spell, then write. Cook. Frown. Rice. Very. Barge. Hatch. Mule. Plunge. Remember to repeat, touch spell, then write. Coach. Dodge. And spoil. Okay, teachers at home or parents at home using this, if you're finding that they're having difficulty doing the touch spelling, model it for them for each word. It's very important and it's very helpful in their future spelling and reading. Okay, so take a moment and look over all of your words. Do they all look like they're spelled correctly? If you see any errors, take a moment now to make your corrections. Okay, so now I want you to take a look at your words. Are these the words that you have written? Did you spell them correctly? If not, cross them out, do not erase, and write them correctly now. If you notice over here, this breaks down the skills, and this is the skill we are practicing spelling right here. Okay, they correlate. After you've had a chance to make your corrections, I want you to take a moment and read the words out loud. Pause the video to give yourself enough time. Now we're moving on to the spell words, phrases, and sentences section, this part of your paper. I'm going to dictate a sentence to you. You will tap out one word per finger. You'll repeat the sentence, then you'll tap out the sentence, and then you'll write it. Here is the first sentence. There is a very huge gem in the ring. There is a very huge gem in the ring. So you would repeat that, and then you would, if you're a right-handed person, you would tap that out. There is a very huge gem in the ring. So you know that there'll be 9 words in that sentence. Okay, and then you will write it. So pause the video to give yourself some time to write. I know that I've had some people tell me I don't pronounce H's very well, so huge. So anyway, I know that's a problem I might have. So if that sounds a little different to you, you might want to repeat it to the learner. Now the next sentence. Bruce could plunge into the water. Repeat. Bruce could plunge into the water. I'm going to model how a left-handed person would tap this out. Bruce could plunge into the water. 6 words for that sentence. Pause the video and write. So repeat, tap, write. After you've given yourself enough time to write the sentence, please check over your sentence for capitalization, accuracy. Do you have the right number of words? The correct spacing in between your words? Punctuation. Do you have the correct ending marks? Is it a statement? Is it asking a question? What ending mark would you use? And spelling. Do you think the words in your sentence are spelled correctly, or sentences are spelled correctly? If not, make those changes now. And pause the video to give yourself enough time. Okay, now we're going to review. Take a minute and look. Is this what your sentences look like? If you made an error, cross it out. Do not erase. And write it correctly now. When you're finished with any errors that you may have, I want you to read these sentences out loud that you have just written. Okay. Now we're on to the new learning. So today we have a new sound card 52, and it is EAR, and it says ear. And the keyword for it is ear. So that's kind of critical. So in class, you would see this keyword card, and you would say ear. So I want you to take a minute and trace. So you're going to trace ear while looking at it. Ear 3 times. Ear. Okay? Then I want you to take a moment and you're going to write EAR, or ear, 3 times on the small lines in the Introduce New Materials section of your Sunday notebook, Sunday student notebook. Pause the video to give yourself enough time to write that. Now we're going to practice reading words that have EAR, ear, in them. So pause the video and read this column of words out loud. Okay, now we're going to practice spelling words that have EAR, ear, in them. So just like in touch spelling, I'm going to model this for you, at least the first couple. So first word is here. You will repeat here, and then you're going to tap it out. If you're a right-handed person, you would say ear. Now notice there's only 2 fingers. This one finger represents the ear sound, which we know is made up of 3 letters. Okay, so write that now. I'll say it again. You repeat it, touch spell it, and write it. Here. Pause to give yourself enough time to write the words. The next word is fear. You would repeat fear. I'm going to model it as a left-handed person would do. Fear, ear. Okay, and then you will write fear. So we hear f and then we hear ear. We know that ear is composed of 3 letters. So you will follow that process for all the rest of the words that I give for you. Next one is near. Repeat, touch spell, write. Pause the video to give yourself time between words. Dear. Clear. Spear. Take a moment and look over your words. Make sure you've had enough time. You will definitely need to pause between words to have enough time to write these down. Look at your words. Do they look like they're spelled correctly? If not, correct them now. Now let's take a look. Are these the words that you have written? Are your words written in this way? And you probably have them going up and down in columns. If you made a mistake, cross it out and rewrite it and make your corrections now. Okay, then after you're done making your corrections, I want you to read these words out loud that you just wrote on your paper. Pause the video to give yourself time to do that. Now we are on the read aloud section. So we've already covered in the decodable part of, in the read aloud section, we want to read a decodable that only has skills that we've previously been taught. So we've been taught all of these skills in prior lessons. Now this does have, I thought it had ear in it, but maybe not. Yes, okay. So we do have EAR, which we just taught, and generally we would wait a lesson in between before we did that. However, I thought you could handle this. So I want you to pause the video and read all the words on this list. Okay, down here are some sight words, but you should have all of the skills to read all of these words. Okay, now pause the video to read these 2 pages out loud. Make sure to read the illustrations in the words in the pictures. Pause the video to read these 2 pages. Pause the video to read these 2 pages. Pause the video to read these 2 pages. And then pause the video to read these final pages. And that is the end of our Sonday Level 34 Day 3 lesson for today. Thank you and have a great day.